Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of February 15th, 2024. The current character challenge is Arkham Origins The Joker. It's a 1-week repeat. The required characters for the challenge are Cyborg, Bane, and Wonder Woman, who, if you're looking at the lowest tier you can get each of them, are available at Bronze, Silver, and Silver, respectively. His passive is Contagious Laughter, which is Joker's special attacks inflict poison gas, and the damage from the poison multiplies with every Arkham teammate. He's got 1,150 attack and 850 health. It was last available on the 20th of April, 2023.
Okay. So he's got middle class stats. Poison, which is passive, completely centers around. That's not my favorite damage over time. All it does is reduce opponent's damage by 20%. So it's more of a defensive effect. But it's still decent as long as you're not facing a Blackest Night Flash team that turns that damage over time against you.
Yeah, because 20% reduced damage ideally doesn't do anything because they're not hitting you very much anyways and not enough to knock you out.
Yeah.
But if it gets turned on you, then you're getting slowed down.
Now
for no real good reason.
Put in perspective, though, when you block a special, it's only reducing damage by 25%.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not awful, but it's, it is defensive.
Or no, 50% on specials, 25% on basic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So then it's whatever it is. Anyways, all right. So he's got two parts to his passive. The first part doesn't seem too special. Joker's special attacks inflict poison gas. It's a status effect on a special. Lots of characters have that. However, special effects usually cost you with reduced damage, and Joker's poison does not cost you. So when you have a status effect, special damage is usually reduced by half. Arkham Knight Catwoman is one of the exceptions where she gets a bleed effect on her special 2 and the damage is only reduced by 25%. Joker gets full damage for both of his specials despite causing poison. Now the second part of his passive is that there's a 100% boost on poison damage with each Arkham teammate. Any Arkham teammate for that damage over time boost, or Batman Returns Catwoman, who doubles damage over time, would be really good with him. And if it weren't for Arkham Knight Catwoman, with significantly higher stats, I would probably be using him more as my damage over time specialist on an Arkham team. His main advantage over Catwoman is that he can have Arkham teammates and not just Arkham Knight teammates, which is Catwoman's limitation. Mm-hmm. And that will still boost his passive. And that opens up way more possibilities for teammates. The other advantage is not inherent in Joker, it's that he gets the extra Joker ability when using Quake Engine. Because Quake Engine we love to use, even when people don't have damage over time. But when he's got damage over time, and you can boost the damage, you can double it because it starts again after it's finished. And the Joker ability is that it increases enemy tag cooldown by 8 seconds when it's maxed out.
Yeah.
So it locks the opponent in. Quake Engine is excellent. Mm-hmm. So the locking is mostly an advantage with one really notable exception, which is funny. In the case when you're fighting against New 52 Shazam, it's a huge disadvantage. Because the strategy that we use against New 52 Shazam with, say, Arkham Knight Catwoman, special 1, you're bleeding him out. Then you tag in one of Catwoman's teammates, at which point Shazam tags out. So he gets to bleed out off screen. He gets down to 1 health so that when he tags back in, he can be knocked out without triggering his passive. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it doesn't work here. But it's worse than just not working, because if you use Arkham Origins Joker as your special specialist and you start damage over time with Shazam, he's locked in below the 25% health threshold that will trigger his passive. So if Shazam has Necron Scythe, which a lot of people do, it's a good gear to use on him. He's really dangerous because he is immune from being knocked out and stuck there until the damage over time runs out. So he's going to be whacking you and doing a lot of extra damage. Mm-hmm. Another thing about using Arkham Origins Joker with Master's Death Card, it's difficult to get a full combo in to build up power when he tags in. Sometimes you're really lucky, but most of the time there's a shove from Master's Death Card, and that ability to connect with all the hits, the opponent's just too far away. The first 2 hits of his special 2 is also not ranged, so you can't just tag in and immediately drop a special 2 unless the opponent is already backed up as much as possible and they're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. So in the footage that you're watching, his gear loadout is Tantu Totem, Master's Death Cart, plus Quake Engine. So even though Quake works really great on him, you've got another alternative would be, just a power generating gear. Could be a little bit easier to use.
Yeah.
So this is the second time since November 2022 when we've been doing gameplay with the current challenge character during our weekly recap. And if you're paying attention, you might notice that there's a difference in the team composition. We're using Hawkgirl to take advantage of the quicker tag-ins instead of Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight was a great basic damage dealer, but he also offered a boost to Joker's damage over time from the passive. Both are really good and effective strategies. As you can tell from the footage, we're really mowing through the team, and even though it would be nice to increase the damage over time, I think it doesn't really make as much of a difference in speed as you would like when you compare that against the advantage of being able to tag in and out really quickly.
So there we go.
Yeah.
Based off of the challenge cycle, which has been going on for several years now without any interruption, we expect next week to be Rebirth Green Arrow as the weekly challenge character.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and we're getting close to the one challenge character in this cycle that we haven't done since then, which was Arkham Origins Bane, which we missed the first time around, and he's coming back on the 4th of April, coming up real soon.
So this week's multiplayer reward is Ares, whose passive is To the Death, which is when Ares performs the Godsmack special. It shocks opponents, causing them to lose the ability to block for a limited time. He's got 1,200 attack into 900 health. He was last available on the 13th of July, 2023, and based off of the multiplayer reward pattern, we expect Master's Death Cart to be next week. So, fun one this week, but next week is really one that you want to look out for. If you haven't, been playing as much, you want to gear up to make next week your week if you don't have a copy of it already.
Right. His stats. Okay, interesting. 1,200 and 900. So for a multiplayer card, he's got lowish stats, but they are weighted towards the damage side, which is how we like them. Glass cannon and all. So along with Cassandra Cain Batgirl, he was one of the two first multiplayer exclusive, which is part of the reason his stats seem low now, because they were actually pretty good when he was released. So To the Death, that passive. So Godsmack is his special 2. The part that's sort of hidden, it's not obvious until you play it, is Godsmack is also unblockable. It breaks the block. But if you do block when he does it, it has a lower chance of being a critical hit, so there's a chance it may not do enough damage to knock you out. Most of the time it does anyways. Another danger, if opponent has blocking gear that reflects damage, like, for example, Charged Disc, it's that you could lose a bunch of health, even if Godsmack breaks the block. So it could actually hurt you. Second part of his passive, where it's not just Godsmack that's unblockable, but attacks are unblockable if they survive Godsmack. That is actually a great reason, a reason why he's a great teammate for Batgirl. And you can see that in a lot of the videos that we've already done with Batgirl and Ares on the same team. She gives him a second bar of power if you only want to give him one from Tantu Totem. And if his special 2 doesn't knock someone out, she can tag in for an unblockable Cloak of Destiny and League of Assassins Knives special 1 that does a ton of damage and splash damage. And if you look at our older videos with Ares, you can see he used to be amazing. He was great for super fast multiplayer fights, but the main counter against him, which has become a lot more common, is a revive. So back in the day, one revive forced the world gear set. That wasn't a problem because Batgirl special 1 was enough for the rest of the team. Now that there's so many more common revive possibilities, Blackest Night Hawkgirl team, Necron Scythe, he's not nearly as fast as he used to be. And because there's only the 2 gears that give power on tagging, Tantu Totem and Master's Death Cart, you can either give him both so that if someone survives the first tag in, you can try again immediately after when you tag him out and tag him back in. Or you could give Master's Death Cart to Batgirl to help when he doesn't knock out somebody. But you can't do both, right? So you can't give Batgirl Master's Death Cart and still have him ready. You're going to slow yourself down some way. So you can't really completely plan against revives to avoid how much it will slow you down when you're trying to use Ares as your main damage dealer.
Yeah.
So one of the strategies that you can see in our Ares playlist, Hawkgirl was our tank. She had Astro Harness, so we kept her out of first slot. If the opponent has a revive, instead of tagging in and dropping a Godsmack bomb, you tag in Ares, only use 1 bar of power. Tag Batgirl back in for special 1. And you keep on doing that until the opponent no longer has a 1 revive, so that you know that when Ares hits the opponent and drops a special 2, it's enough to knock them out, so that you're actually at least getting into the second opponent before you have to really sort of recharge. The other counter against Ares, whose main feature is doing the Godsmack repeatedly, because, you know, a Tantu Totem gives full power back if you knock out the opponent, is entry hazard. So, which works against any team that you're actually relying on Tantu Totem for, right? But Gaslight Batman, which prevents Master's Death Card from giving the second bar of power, or Arkham Knight Harley Quinn, who just punishes you for tagging in if she's off screen. And so there's a whole playlist. So we've done so many variations of this team. Fun team to play with Ares. Check it out.
Yeah, definitely as far as the sort of massive damage, knock 'em out quick teams, Ares is one of the most fun characters to set up those like really huge hits with. Moving on to the store, we have the Rebirth Green Arrow Early Access Bundle. That's $24.99 Canadian. All prices in Canadian because we're in Canada, so that's the info we get from the store. And that is the sort of second piece of evidence other than our knowledge of the cycle for what next week's challenge is going to be. It comes with 100,000 power credits, so for the more expensive variant, there's sort of a $12 version of the pack. Or is it $12.99?
Something like that.
I think it's $12.99.
Yeah.
So there's like a $13 version of the pack, I guess, that usually doesn't come with credits, and there's a $25 version of the pack that usually comes with credits and sometimes doesn't. So it's more expensive, but you also get sort of the most stuff you get from this version, even though it's never really a great deal, especially because
you just wait a week.
Yeah, you wait a week, you play, you know, a couple hours, right? And then you have a copy forever, and it's unlocked in your store.
Right.
Everything else has been in the store for at least 2 weeks. The tag team pack is in its second week, and then everything else has been around for a while.
Right. Character bundle Flash team.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there is
that's
one.
New. So that's Reverse Flash, Metahuman the Flash, and 2 of the same gear, which is Hyperspeed Plated Suit, because there's only one signature gear for the Flash skins.
Yeah.
And so they're not bad, because they're both multiplayer exclusives.
$24.99.
$24.99, right. And they're not bad. They're multiplayer exclusives.
Yeah.
So you're getting if you're going to be spending $12.50 for each character, it's not bad to spend it on one that would otherwise be really difficult to get.
And the main advantage is that they never unlock in your store in the first place. You always have to just keep playing multiplayer.
Yeah.
So the one extra copy actually is the exact same amount of value as you'd get from getting one copy from online multiplayer, as opposed to the challenge where you're getting much worse value.
Right.
Moving on, Phantom Zone is back for 2 weeks. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's gold breakthrough was Deadshot, Wonder Woman, and Static, so this coming weekend should be Zatanna, Flash, and Solomon Grundy. You can check the link in the description to a thread from Reddit user Devlin16 with a complete breakthrough cycle if you want to track that information for yourself.
Right.
And make this part of the video redundant or useless. I guess if this is the only thing you're checking this video for, theoretically you could stop watching altogether.
That's right.
But if you're still checking this and we talk about it every week, it's unlikely that you will do it at this point. This won't be the week that makes you stop, I guess.
Yeah. So as far as current glitches go, we will go into more detail every time something changes. Well, something significant changes, which did not happen this week. However, even if nothing changes, we still do a more detailed review once a month, the first week of every month. Most recently, that was a recap from February the 1st. And you can also see a video tutorial for every working glitch in our playlist, Current Working Glitches. It's linked in the description of this video and the eye in the top right corner of this video. The one thing worth mentioning is that the challenge reset glitch has been confirmed to be working on this week's Arkham Origins Joker challenge.
And, also keep in mind with Phantom Zone that resetting progress on one resets progress on both. So only reset progress if you are happy to reset on both, which is relevant for the next 2 weeks because that's, they're both going to be active for the entire period.
Right.
To finish up, we'd like to give a huge thank you to our lovely patrons on Patreon. That is Michael Devries, Irvin, Ruiz, Hoshi127, and Nora Klimek, who are supporting us on the credited level, as well as the names scrolling past that have supported us at some point during the pandemic. So thank you so much for your support. Thanks so much to all of you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.